Hey, so today I am going to be giving you guys some tips when it comes to utilizing your cash envelopes or just some things that I have found useful in my cash envelope system. Okay, so for me, I use my cash envelopes as a way to kind of keep myself in check, because if I don't, then I'll just take my credit card or my debit card and I'll just be in Walmart and be like, "Oh, I need that. I don't need it, but I'm still gonna get it," and then swipe, 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 and the next thing I know, I look and I'm like, "Girl, look, you acting up." So, and also when I would go on trips, I would notice, like, I would set a budget for myself, like I'm only gonna spend this much while I'm here, and I would spend only that much. But like the last couple of days, I would have to be super conscious on how much I spent, because I wouldn't be paying attention to it, because I would just be swiping my card. And it was just kind of easier for me to have the money, keep track of the money, and kind of know what's going on when it comes to my money and my budget and how I'm spending things. So I started utilizing cash envelopes, especially when I was trying to save money. I was like, okay, if you set yourself a budget and you say, this is how much I'm going to spend, and you only take out that amount, then that's all that you have to spend. It kind of instilled a little bit of discipline in me. So even now, sometimes if a month comes up and I'm not able to get to the bank right away, I still don't go over budget, because at this point I have enough discipline with my money. But in the beginning, I didn't. And I'm gonna be honest, sometimes now I still don't, like, not always, but I be trying. That's all that matters. But we're gonna hop into some tips. My first tip is know your categories. So again, for me, when I use my cash envelope system, I'm not doing bills. Some of my bills are coming out, they're not coming out auto pay, but I'm still paying them through my checking account just because it's easier, especially like my car note, my insurance. I mean, I can't pay that, I can't go to the store and pay that somewhere. So for those things, they still come out of direct deposit. Otherwise, that's where I use my cash envelopes for my other things. My categories for me are eating out, groceries, household, gas, date night. What else? Ooh, I think that's it. Those are all of my cash envelope that isn't a sinking fund. So I have a eating out, a groceries, a household, a gas, and date night, and personal care. Everything else is sinking funds. So my sinking funds are Christmas, birthdays, my insurance, and Christmas, birthdays, insurance, and auto expenses. So those are mine. I chose those because I eat out and I buy groceries, and I pay for gas for my car. Those are things where I can go into a store and physically do those transactions. So I made those cash transactions also, because if you leave it up to me, look at me. Look at me. Don't look like I eat. I love to eat. So if you leave it up to me, I'll just swipe plus swipe. I mean, I will spend $60 on a meal. But now when it comes to like clothes or something, I might, $60 for a shirt is a lot. But $60 for a meal, I can get into that. So I have to regulate myself. And I know that the way that I regulate myself the best is to use cash. So to instill discipline in that area, I started using cash. I can only eat out using cash. Same for groceries and gas. Well, just groceries and gas because I can go into the store. And also in the grocery store, I might hit Walmart up and be like, I need all of that. So it helps me to regulate myself. So knowing your categories first is very important, just to know what you want to keep, spending and using your card for, and what you're going to use the cash envelope system for. My second tip number 2, is going to be knowing how much to spend. And a lot of people say, how do you know, girl, how much to spend? for me, I went off of when I first decided to start using cash envelopes. I went off of the previous month. So I went and I pulled up my bank account and I looked and saw how much did I spend on food. And that was McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, McAllister's, eating at the fish house, you know, all these things. How much was I spending on eating out? Okay, if that month, the previous month, I had spent, you know, $60 eating out, then that let me know, for the most part, I'm going to spend $60 a month eating out. And so you go from there. Do you want to keep that amount? Was $60 too much? Like, if you plug that in to your budget, are you still going to be able to spend $60 every month eating out? If the answer is no, then you go down. If the answer is yeah, I can still spend $60, and you think to yourself, for example, the month of March, I knew that I was going out of town. So I knew really for a part of a week, I wasn't going to be eating out. I wasn't even going to be in town. I was going to be using my vacation spending. So I really didn't have to budget for $60. I could budget for $40 because I wasn't going to be in town. So that's just how I decide how I'm going to spend my money and how much I'm going to allocate to each envelope. The same for gas, the same for groceries. I know that I spend roughly $60 to $80 a month in groceries, mostly because I try to get everything on sale. I stay up on the Kroger app. They used to have these really good sales, and they're starting to bring them back. You know, pre-pandemic, life was a little different. They would have these great sales, and they're starting to, like I said, kind of come back a little bit. So I look on the Kroger app on Tuesday because that's when the sale ends, but they give you a preview of the following week's sales. So on Tuesdays, I can see, okay, you know, strawberries during this sale were 2 for $5. On Wednesday, they're going to start being 2 for $4. So I'm not going to go to the store and get, you know, strawberries today because they're 2 for $5. I'll wait till Wednesday and get them when they're 2 for $4. I know that dollar just sounds like, oh, it's only $1. But when you budgeting and every penny counts, that dollar counts. So that's how I decided my groceries as well. Like I said, I just looked at what I did the previous month. If I spent $60 the previous month on groceries and I got enough groceries, I didn't have to, you know, skimp on anything, I wasn't at a loss, I wasn't in need of anything when the month was over, then that kind of let me know that $60 is adequate. I could spend $60 a month on groceries. If at the end of the month I was like, oh, well, I still need this, I didn't get that, I really wanted to buy or cook this but I didn't, then I say, okay, well, maybe you need to budget for $80. And that way, again, you know what you use. Sometimes, like I said, you can find certain things on sale. Watermelons go on season in the summer, so you know one watermelon is roughly $5. So if you're a watermelon eater like me, you know that in the summer you're going to need to budget maybe, you know, a little bit more for your groceries as things come in season. But that's also just going to be up to you and what you like and what you need. But my main tip when it comes to how much to allocate for each category of your cash envelope is look at what you've been doing. Look at your previous months. Look at your transaction history, because we are creatures of habit. You know, if we like to eat out, or if we like to spend a lot on groceries, if we like to spend a lot on clothes, whatever we did the previous month, it's likely that we'll continue to do. So just look at what you've been doing. It's also good if you are trying to cut back. If you say, okay, for example, me, when I first started budgeting, you guys, I was not bringing my lunch to work. I was going out every day getting lunch. And I'm not talking about no 4 for 4. You know, I'm going to Chick-fil-A. I'm getting the good stuff, okay? So I'm spending $8 to $12 every day for lunch. Let's hit the median. Let's say I was spending $10 a day for lunch, okay? It's 5 days in a week. That's $50 a week. And that's just lunch. I haven't eaten dinner. I didn't eat breakfast. That's just me eating lunch. So I'm spending $50 a week on lunch. Times 4, what's that? 5 times 4 is $20? $200? Ooh, $200. That was a lot. You know, when I sat and looked at my budget and said, you are spending $200 on lunch, girl, you losing it. So I said, okay, well, what could you do? How could you cut back? So I said, okay, well, if you're spending $200 a month, $50 a week, and that's you saying you're going to eat $10 meals. Okay, maybe you don't eat out Monday through Friday. Maybe you only eat out twice a week. So that cuts it from $50 to $20. So that cuts your budget from $200 a month to $80 a month. That's $120 that you save that you can put somewhere else. You can put it into your car note. You can put it into your insurance. You can put it into gas. You can put it into groceries. So that's what I did. So if you're trying to cut back, again, look at what you're spending and find somewhere that you could cut back. Deciding that instead of instead of going to lunch every day, throughout the course of a week, I'll just go 2 days out of the week. That kind of truly helped me to budget and save a little bit of money. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to have to, cook every day, because I'm going to be honest, I'm not Martha Stewart. I love to cook, but I hate leftovers. So it's not like I'm taking my lunch to work with me every day. I'm going to take my lunch with me a couple days out of the week, just so that I can burn down on some of my money. My third tip is be patient and be consistent. Sometimes things come up. I may decide that I'm going to spend $60 eating out, and I may go over, or something may come up, an event may come up, and I have an entertainment fund that I use for fun stuff. If my cousins want to go out, if my friends want to go out, if my family wants to go out, I use that out of my entertainment budget. But if something comes up, the people at my job want to go out to eat, or I really, at one point I was getting a meal and it was $6, and then now I'm getting a meal and it's $10. Sometimes things happen, businesses may change their prices and things of that nature. Don't be too hard on yourself if you go over budget. Don't be too hard on yourself if you have to make some tweaks, especially when you're first starting out, because it is hard to change your habits. It was hard for me to decide I'm going to start bringing my lunch. It took me physically cooking, packing it, and then not leaving the house without. There were several times I would have prepared my lunch and I would leave the house and it would still be there. So I'm at work and I'm hungry and I'm like, oh crud, my lunch is at home. I'm not going back to the house to get it. So now I have to buy something. So be patient with yourself, but be consistent with yourself. Don't negative talk yourself, oh, why you do that? That's so stupid. Don't do that. It's okay. It's going to take you a minute to get used to this process. It's different. So be kind and gentle with yourself when it comes to your budgeting, but stick with it. It's going to, like I said, take a minute, because we are creatures of habit. We like what we like. We do what we do. So just be consistent with yourself, be patient and kind with yourself, and stick with it. If you need more tips, let me know. Because like I said, it was me when I decided to start budgeting. It was just me. It was just something that I just decided to do because I realized I made X amount, but I didn't have nothing to show for it. I didn't have nothing in my savings. At the time, I hadn't bought a car. I hadn't done anything. And I was like, wow, girl, you wowed it. You need to get it together. So I had to kind of figure things out for myself and on my own. And I'm here to help you figure out things so that you don't have to go through as much of the trial and error as I had to go through. Like I said, I had to watch a lot of YouTube videos. I had to fall and bump my head a couple of times. I had to dig into my savings a couple of times because I didn't adequately budget for certain things. It was a sucky situation, but I think now I have a better hold on it, but that's because I was consistent and I was patient and I was kind with myself. So whatever you need, like I said, I'm always here. Comment down below if you need more tips. Comment down below if you have some tips for me, because I'm always in for learning how to save my money, girl. So let me know and I'll let you know, okay? But I just want to thank you guys for sitting through these 3 tips with me. The first was to figure out what you're going to be using your cash envelope system for and what you're going to continue to use electronic transactions for. The second is look at your previous months. Like I said, we're creatures of habit. What we've done before, we'll probably continue to do. So look at what you've been doing before. And maybe you might have to look at your past 2 to 3 months of activity to see, okay, I do truly only spend about $60 a month eating out. Or, you know, February was a rough month. I spent $150 eating out. And then in January, I spent, $100. And then in December, I spent $80. Why did it go up? What's going on? Just kind of analyze yourself and your habits and your spending so that you can adequately make sure that you're budgeting enough. And then third, be consistent, but be patient with yourself. This is a new journey for you. This is your first time deciding that you want to do this, or maybe it's your second or your third. But you have to be consistent and you have to be patient with yourself. Rome wasn't built in a day, and your budget won't be built in a day either, honey. But I just want to thank you guys so much for, watching this video. If you have any comments, any questions, or concerns, let me know. Hit that like button. Share with your friends and your family if you know somebody who is trying to budget. Comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, honey. Don't forget. Okay? Don't. I know me and you, we are building a relationship. And the only way that this relationship can continue to grow is if you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Don't play, okay? Don't play. But thank you guys so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.